Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Yo, this is the Yungblud podcast. Turn up that volume. Happy! How is everyone doing today? If you just got back to school and listening to this in your maths class, don't tell your teacher because there's definitely going to be swearing in this episode. Put down the ruler. There's also going to be Irish rock and roll royalty, as today I'm going to be chatting with Elijah Hewson, the frontman of the band Inhaler. Eli and three mates started Inhaler in 2012 at school in Dublin. They released their first single in 2017, and this July their debut album, It Won't Always Be Like This, went straight in at number one. Some might say Eli's success was gonna happen because he's the son of Bono, frontman of the world's biggest rock and roll band, U2. But Eli and his mates have grafted hard to win over critics and fans, and trust me, man, they are a band in their own right. They have their own sound. I think they're sick. They're back now touring non-stop for the next few months. I can't wait to see if Eli's loving life back on the road as much as I am. Are you ready? Are you steady? Here we go.
Hello, mate. Good morning.
Have you just woke up?
I have. She was just asking me what I had for breakfast, and I haven't had anything yet.
Oh, dude, I was literally I was out last night, so I've been doing this for a couple hours.
Out.
Yeah, I was out. Where are you now?
I'm in Liverpool right now, man.
Do you live up there?
No, we were going to before shit kicked off with the old pandemic. We were going to move, but we just spend loads of time here because our crew's from Liverpool.
Dude, I love it. You've got this, that room, that rehearsal room looks incredible. Where is that?
That's in Dublin, undisclosed location. But it's an old, actually, I can't even say that. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Dude, I'm vibing. All right, should we rock and roll? Should we get into it? How have you been? All right?
Yeah, been good, man. It's just been great to be back at gigs. And you've been spinning us on the radio, which is very nice of you. So thanks for that.
Dude, I loved it, man. I loved the record. I think it's wicked.
Yeah, we put a lot of love into it, man. It's like when the pandemic happened, we just held on for dear life and just wrote music and wrote. Probably did a little too much, you know what I mean? When you kind of start to overcook things a little bit and you have to go back.
Dude, I relate to that, man. It was like when that lockdown started at my second album, I was writing. And it's like by the end of it, I was like, how do I narrow this down?
It's too much.
And I think there's a thing about not being able to play live, that when you get a reaction from an audience, that's when you know what you're doing, or the kind of the avenues you go down are the right way.
Definitely. If you do something all on a computer, you then go to play it live and it doesn't have that same, you're like, oh, it should be faster, it should be, heavier at that part. Or, people start turning around and going to the bar.
Exactly.
Or going to the toilet for a piss.
Yeah, literally cut that.
Yeah.
That's going on too long. We should half that by 4 bars, all that shit. Yeah, that's what. So I'm saying, how have the gigs been, man? All right. Just been mental.
Nuts. They've been nuts. Yeah, we did, first gig back was Boardmaster, and that was, we didn't know where to put our feet or where to look, you know what I mean? They hadn't done it in a year and a half, so we were like, well, this is weird. And then Prism the next night in London was bouncing. They've all been great. And then we did 2 gigs, one after the other in a Deaf Institute. And that killed us, man. It killed us. Yeah. It was so much fun, but it killed us.
Dude, it's so weird, man. It's we just came off the back of shows as well. It's just the energy is just mental. We played 2 nights in Nottingham and 5 nights in London. And I remember first night in Nottingham blew my voice out.
Yeah.
I was on stage screaming.
Yeah, you go for it.
To literally the top of my voice's capacity. And the next day I'm I cannot talk. How the hell am I going to get through
exactly what happened to me yesterday, man. And I like talking as well. Yeah. It's real hard for us.
Yeah, that's the thing. As a front man, as a singer, it's you get off stage and you want to drink and shout and thing. But then it's you've got to be up for radio at 7. You've got to
it's no
do
joke,
all the interviews
man.
all day.
No joke.
And then you've got to sing. It's it's mental.
It ain't the 70s, baby.
It is not the 70s, baby. Do you think, people had a preconception of the music you would make regarding your background?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely some people, but we always knew that. And it kind of just made us want to fight a little bit harder against it, if anything. You know what I mean? It was never it didn't hold us back. I think it just made us hungrier for it.
I think that's when I first came across you, because I found out through Aeneas about you lot. And obviously I knew you were before I'd heard your music. And in my head I was like, oh, I wonder what this will be like. And you know what? I put it on and I was so buzzing because I was like, this is fresh, this is different, this is not what I expected. Like, you guys have like, you legit have your own sound. You sound like you've been jamming together since you were 12.
We kind of have been.
I just love that stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? I think especially like with my tunes and that, it's always been about a young generation and a young people. And
totally.
I'm 24, just turned 24.
Congrats, bro. I just turned 22.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
22. I love it, man. Happy birthday. When did you turn 22?
2 days ago. We were in Preston doing a gig.
Oh, I love it, man. You're a little Leo boy like me as well.
Yeah.
August puppies. I love it. Yeah. Proper lions, man. Rawr.
But no, definitely, like, I think, like, when I was a kid growing up, I was obsessed with, like, Nirvana and, like, Kurt Cobain and that whole grunge scene, the Seattle thing going on. And you were just like, I want something to happen, like, with my mates, you know what I mean, in my city, like, I want that to happen. And then seeing it now, like, there's so many great bands coming out of Dublin, coming out of the UK, and, like, it's just people want to hear good stuff.
There's definitely been a rock resurgence. I was talking to Ollie Sykes because we brought Ollie out at one of the London shows from Bring Me the Horizon, and it was like, there's definitely a resurgence in rock and roll music, legitimately right now, because I remember like 2 years ago, I was like, I do not know who I would want to tour with. Do you know what I mean? But now I can find 10 bands. I could name 10 bands that I love, respect, that I would want to kind of share a festival slot with or share a tour with, who are not nostalgic acts. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple of years ago, I was like, every single rock and roll band in the world is over 30 right now.
Come on, kids.
That's what I'm saying. Pick up the guitars, and apparently they have. Do you think any of your fan base has discovered you too through your music? Because I'm just like, I think that's probably true. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like, we were doing a gig once as in Belfast, and some lad ran up to the van as we were getting in, and he goes, "Oi, Bono's son. Hey, baby, that's Bono's son." She goes, "Who's that?" And we were all like, "Come on."
Yes.
It's just funny, like, you know what I mean? But I think I'm sure that's happened, you know. I don't mean to be disrespectful, like, at all. Like, I love my dad. I'm very grateful for where I came from and all that. But I think it's definitely true that younger generations are just more involved with what's on their phones or what's, you know, like, it's not. I think everything's more immediate these days anyway.
Completely. And
you know,
that's why I was like buzzing to have you on, because you are a band in your own right. You ain't piggybacking off fuck all. I will stress that right now. I remember when Post Malone got on a song with Ozzy, everyone was like on Twitter like, "Oh my God, who's this Ozzy Osbourne guy? Post Malone's just made his career." I'm like, I'm obsessed with that. I was like, that is the most Gen Z thing ever.
You know what though? It just happens, man. It's just like things move on. You know, there'll be a new Ozzy Osbourne.
Who were your influences like growing up? I know it's like sometimes a question that I'm a bit like, oh, fuck off when I get asked it in an interview. But I'm like, I would love to know, because it's so funny to me. Like, when I was kind of looking at frontman, I was looking at your old man, I was looking at Jagger, I was looking at Freddie, I was looking at Blondie. You know what I mean? That's where what were yours?
Like, honestly, man, like, I think because of the whole thing, like, I didn't want to be, I wasn't looking at frontmen. I always wanted to be like, you know, like lead guitar, rhythm guitar. Like, we just love like the Stone Roses. We love bands. You know, we weren't like into like. I'm only recently starting to discover how important a performer is. You know what I mean? I think we just wanted to be a band playing together. We didn't even want to write tunes for a long time. We were just like a real bad Stone Roses cover band.
Yeah, I love it.
And yeah, it was like, you know, like it was like Stone Roses, Joy Division, a lot of Manchester stuff. Happy Mondays, you know, like the Charlatans even.
I mean, yeah, dude, same, legitimately.
You know, like all the good stuff, the essential stuff. I mean, we're into a lot of stuff as a band.
Stuff with spirit, innit? You know what I mean? I think it's got such a big spirit. What's exciting me about UK rock and roll, there's a real soul again in guitar music. You know what I'm saying? I think like there's two different scenes. There's obviously what's going on with America with the old pop punk thing going on, but then we're at this side of the pond, that Manchester sound, that sound from the northeast, the bands from like I loved like Boomtown Rats and shit, me, do you know what I mean, from Ireland, and like all that stuff is happening again in the same way that the pop punk thing's happening in America, and that's cool that this new vibe is coming along with guitar music. You got a number one album. Mental. Phew. I remember that week. I was like, everyone was like going, I think they're gonna do it, and I kept calling Nurse. I was like, have the lads done it? And you did. I was like, that's so sick. And
it was mad.
What's next for Inhaler?
loads and loads of gigs and loads of time in the studio. Probably not as much as we took on the first one, but we've already got loads of songs that are just kind of weren't really finished for the first one. So we've got a good little platform to jump off of, but I just really want to get back in the studio, man. I love that part of it.
Yeah, dude, it's the best place ever.
I really love it. I love being on tour, but it's a totally different thing, innit?
What's the writing process like? Do you all write together? Is it mainly you, or is it mainly the boys? Or
We write pretty much all together. Like, I write the lyrics and stuff, but ideas can come from literally anywhere. I think that's kind of the fun of being in the band, is like, we'll like hear a tune and just like be like, yeah, let's like rip that off. Not completely that you rip up the parts, but you're like, let's make a song like that, you know what I mean?
Dude, legitimately, it's just because if you put one bit of soul from one thing with another bit of soul from another thing and then another bit of soul from another thing, it's a completely different, it's a baby, innit?
Definitely. Yeah, and like, so that can happen, or, you know, just be fiddling around on a guitar, or the best thing to do is really just get in a room and just start playing a song that's been written on an acoustic guitar and try and figure it out that way, because that's how we used to do it when we were kids, man. Like,
yeah, there's something mental about hearing your song back in it when there's a full band. When you figure it out on an acoustic, then you all get jamming and put all your parts on it, and then like the lead guitar gets put on and ambience gets put on and your bass line comes through. It's just like, whoa, what the hell?
Persevering through like nothing happening. When you're
and the
hard,
shit.
You're all there like, play the part, man.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, and you all get a Chinese takeaway and then you all like nail it in one take afterwards. You know what I mean? Chinese takeaway and like 4 cans of Stella.
At like 2 a.m. and you're all like, what? Video that, man. Yeah.
And you're just like, you're finally easy.
No,
dude, it's the best thing in the world. Yeah, we've all got to get in a room and jam, man. With all this like new rock and roll scene that's happening, everyone's got to like do some mad fucking Live Aid thing together. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, man. We've got to help each other get back in the charts.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, rock and roll. And it's going to get there with real spirit, talking about real things, man. You know what I'm saying?
Feelings, man. I think one of our aims with this record was to make something that just felt really joyful. And I think being joyful in a time like this is pretty defiant. That's just the spirit we wanted to communicate, and I think we've done that. And it's mad putting out a record, dude. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah,
it still feels like it's not out, you know?
Dude, I feel that. Like, I just put out a song like last night, basically, and it's just like, what? This is out in the world. It's so weird, and it's like, I was literally walking down to get a cup of coffee, and then I heard it playing out of someone's car this morning. I'm like, what the hell? That's so weird. You know what I mean? And I'm still like that. Dude, I've loved having you on, man. Last question before we wrap it up, right? What advice would you give for anyone out there who wants to start a band right now?
Play gigs, write songs as much as you can. Ed Sheeran had a good quote about it. It's like, when you write a song, always just finish the bad ones. It's like a dirty tap. Let it come out, finish everything, and the more you do it, the better you'll get. But yeah, gigs I think are the main thing, because you learn more in one gig than you will in 10 rehearsals. And just embrace the bad gigs, man. Embrace them.
Dude, literally, like, don't be afraid to fuck up. That is a big thing. That's the point of being an artist and having a career. You can't have 10 Mona Lisas, man, can you? You know what I mean? You can have
no success without failure,
absolutely. Man. Bruv, you're a legend. Thank you so much for coming on the YB podcast. I'll let you on DM on Instagram. Let's grab a pint, you know what I mean, when we're all together. That'd be sick.
Thank you very much, Buff.
Love that, man. Make sure you go check them out. They're sick. That's it for this week's episode. Until next time, stay safe, go be naughty, listen to good tunes, and turn up that volume.